Let's say you wake up in the year 117 AD with $1 billion. Not $1 billion worth of stocks, not crypto, not a bank account, actual wealth that Rome can understand. Gold. A lot of gold. At first, this sounds amazing. Rome is at the height of its power. The empire stretches across 3 continents. The roads are incredible. The cities are massive. And thanks to your fortune, you are now richer than almost everyone alive. For about 5 minutes. Because the first problem isn't spending the money. It's surviving long enough to spend it. The moment people realize how much wealth you have, you're no longer a wealthy traveler. You're the most interesting person in the empire. Merchants want your business. Politicians want your support. Criminals want your gold. And somewhere in a palace, the emperor is about to ask a very important question. Who exactly is this person? But let's ignore that for a moment, because you didn't click on this video to be responsible. You clicked to spend $1 billion. So let's go shopping. First, housing. Forget buying a nice villa. You could buy entire estates across Italy, private bathhouses, vineyards, country mansions, the kind of properties that would make Roman senators quietly question their life choices. Then there's luxury. Purple dye was one of the most expensive status symbols in the ancient world. Roman elites wore it because it screamed wealth. You could buy so much purple cloth that half the Mediterranean would look underdressed. Want entertainment? No problem. You could sponsor massive gladiator games, feed entire crowds, hand out gifts, throw parties so absurd that people would still be talking about them a century later. And then we get to the really ridiculous stuff, the Roman army. At this point, Rome maintained hundreds of thousands of soldiers across the empire. Your fortune is large enough to fund military payroll on a scale that would make government officials extremely nervous. And that's where things start going wrong, because wealth in Rome doesn't just buy comfort, it buys influence. And influence attracts attention. The more money you spend, the more powerful you appear. The more powerful you appear, the more dangerous you look. Imagine you're a Roman governor. A mysterious outsider arrives. He's richer than entire provinces. He's throwing around money like confetti. People love him. Soldiers respect him. Crowds cheer when he enters a city. At some point, you're not looking at a businessman anymore. You're looking at a potential rival. And Rome had a long history of dealing with rivals, usually with knives. Now let's talk about another problem. You are accidentally breaking the economy. Every merchant knows you're rich, so prices begin rising. The finest wine costs more. Luxury goods cost more. Land costs more. Everyone wants a piece of your fortune. It's the ancient version of surge pricing, except the surge is caused by you. And if you think that's bad, wait until you discover what your money can't buy. You can buy villas. You can buy servants. You can buy influence. But you cannot buy antibiotics. A small infection is still dangerous. A bad cut can still kill you. An infected tooth can still ruin your life. You own enough wealth to fund armies. Yet a microscopic bacterium you can't even see remains one of your biggest threats. History is funny like that. The richest person in the empire can still lose a fight against bad drinking water. And while you're dealing with all of this, the emperor is watching. Because emperors don't like uncertainty. And they definitely don't like private citizens who look more powerful every day. Maybe you're invited to Rome. Maybe you're offered friendship. Maybe you're offered a government position. Or maybe someone decides you've become a problem. After all, if your wealth can influence soldiers, governors, merchants, and entire cities, what happens if you decide you want political power too? Rome isn't going to wait around and find out. And if you think Rome is about to let a random billionaire get away with this, subscribe now because we're just getting started with these historical what-if disasters. Now imagine it's been a year. You've bought estates. You've funded games. You've become famous across the empire. People know your name. The crowds love you. The elites hate you. And the emperor has a decision to make. Because in ancient Rome, wealth did not create power. Power protected wealth. That's the lesson every Roman eventually learned. And it's the lesson you're about to learn too. Maybe your fortune gets seized. Maybe you're accused of treason. Maybe you mysteriously disappear after a dinner invitation. Rome was creative like that. Either way, your $1 billion doesn't turn you into the king of Rome. It turns you into the empire's biggest problem. And that's why $1 billion in the modern world makes you rich. But $1 billion in ancient Rome? It might just sign your death warrant. And if you enjoyed this historical disaster, subscribe, because next time we're testing something even more ridiculous.